Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. This is going to be a rather cool unboxing of Golden Age books. I've been trying to get a collection of Thunder. It's a comic that was created by Frank Frazetta, and it's just one that's kind of a classic of sort of these jungle-related comics, and that's what this unboxing is. It's part of a collection. I have actually the whole collection now. It's the second half is coming in a future unboxing, but these are the key issues actually. So I'm going to show you. Actually, I unboxed in a previous video one of the key issues, number 2, that had the first appearance of Cave Girl, who's kind of a major character for Jungle Girl comics. But let me get into this unboxing first. So this is from David Alexander again. I ordered a bunch of stuff from him. So this is some more comics from him. And it's not a big order, but it's very cool comics. Very, very cool. These are like, this is like about $2,000 worth of comics. I paid $1,200, but they're pretty pricey books. And it's only 4 books. So the first one that I'll show you is this, Thunder, number 1. Now this is the one that's the big key from the Thunder collection. There's only 6 books in the collection, and it is rare in a couple ways, or extraordinary in a couple ways, I should say. This book, Thunder number 1, is one of the few comics, if maybe the only comic, where Frank Frazetta not only did the cover, but he did all the interior art for it as well. And that's kind of a big deal. Frank Frazetta is like one of these premier artists. His artwork sells for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's very rare for him to have done interior artwork. So this was kind of a major book for Frank Frazetta. And he really wanted to make this character his own. And it's actually one of those stories that has been told in other kind of comics, I should say. Like it's one of those stories where it's like, where Thunder, he basically is Roger Drum, and he was flying over Africa. He's doing like deliveries and stuff like that, and his plane crashes, and he gets sort of caught into this kind of area, part of Africa, like the Congo, where it's completely isolated. The mountain range has basically created this pocket where time has stopped, and there's still dinosaurs, and there's still that, the typical like land before time kind of situation. And there's 2 groups of people that live in that area, and there's like these cave-like, kind of primitive, like almost ape-like men. And then there's other group, which is like more advanced, slightly more advanced, like they're more human-like. So those 2 groups kind of are at odds with each other. The cave men, which are these kind of like prehistoric like men, are basically taking advantage of the ones that look more like us. And they're basically either killing them or capturing the women, and it's kind of a weird situation. And Thunder is kind of dropped in the middle of this. And at first he gets captured by the cavemen, and he he gets like they don't really take him seriously. He's like kind of weak in their mind, so they just don't take him seriously. And they don't even have, like, they just treat him like a slave, like almost like a pet, a slave, and he basically runs away one day. and he gets free, and he lives in this new environment and becomes strong. And the other cave people, not cave people, but the other civilization or group, um, they kind of take notice of him because he's doing stuff that is a little bit unusual. He's using a bow and arrow, which is like something that they've never seen, and he's doing some stuff that is kind of interesting to them. So they take notice of him, and he basically he captures this girl right here. Her name is Fa, and he shows her that he is, on their side, because at first it seems like they don't really trust him. And he basically takes her up to the top of the mountains to show her these cavemen that live there, and where they, so that they can maybe use that knowledge to defend themselves better. And he finds this big, like, dong, like a bong, or what are they called? Like those big drum things you bang. The gong, gong. I was going through all my words. He finds this big gong, and he's like, "Oh, what's this for?" And he decides to hit it, and it summons like this snake god, and he ends up fighting the snake god. He uses his bow and arrow at first, and it does absolutely nothing to this snake god. But he still has one last bullet left in his gun, and he shoots the snake god and kills it. And all these primitive humans, they all of a sudden say, "Oh wow, he's a god slayer," basically, and they rename him Thunda because of the sound of the gun that the sound the gun made. So that's how he gets his name of Thunda. So that's the story, his origin story, which is told in this. And it's built really just beautiful illustrations inside. Like it's just so classic Golden Age book. Just Frank Frazetta is just, he's a top artist. He's just awesome. So, and he draws Fa in this really sexy kind of like awesome way. And he really took this book very, very seriously. And what happened was, the publisher, which is Magazine Enterprises, they tried to take some liberties, and they wanted to change the story a bit because they didn't like the idea that it was an isolated area. So they said, "Oh, there's earthquakes, and they're going to knock down the mountains, and other people could come in order to create more story opportunities." And Frank Frazetta didn't like that, and he walked away from it after one issue. So he put all his heart and soul into this comic, and then he walks away with it, or from it, in his very first issue. So kind of funny how that worked. So that was Thunda #1. Now, Thunda, as I said, only ran 6 issues, and I'm going to show you issue number 6. And this is issue number 6. It's kind of cool. And so issues 2 through 6 were done by another artist named Bob Powell. And I got issue number 4 as well. So I got 3 issues of the 6 within this unboxing. So and you can see they're pretty cool. Even, Bob Powell did a good job. One of the key characters that kind of came out as well from the Thunda books is a character named Cave Girl, and she appeared in Thunda #2, and she's considered like one of these, as I said, Golden Age jungle related girls. Kind of a character that has been brought back to kind of popularity. Well, not super popularity, but some popularity with Dynamite comics, bringing both Thunda back and Cave Girl back. So these characters are being brought back into the modern era. So it's kind of cool that you get these Golden Age characters that are kind of making a comeback. And the stories are fun. They're interesting. They're very different than the superhero stuff that we may be getting a little bit inundated with nowadays. So it's interesting to see different stories. These jungle stories are very different. So those are the three Thunder books. So I'll show those again because they are kind of cool. This is number 4. Just really, you don't really see, like, everyone generally sells that number 1, which is, and it's a really hard to find book actually. Um, but these other ones you don't see as often. So this is number 6, and it's just a really high grade. This is a nice solid, like maybe a 5 or 6. It's like a maybe a fine or even maybe higher. It's just a very solid book. And then number one has tape along the spine and stuff, but it's, it's like a VG copy. But just a great book. Like, as I said, so that's Thunder 1 and 4 and 6, and the other book, which is actually the most expensive in the lot, is, how to explain this. So it's a very jungle theme to all these books. These are all Golden Age books. This is a big key because it's got so many great elements going on for it. This is Jojo, the Congo King. So that was Thunda, the King of the Congo. And now we got Jojo, the Congo King. Now, another big publisher in the Golden Age was Fox. And Vincent Fox thought of himself as the king of comics. And basically what Vincent Fox would do is he would find some other like cool comics, like if the Rula or Tarzan or Sheena did well, he'd be like, oh, I got, or not, Rula is one of his. If some other comic did well, like Sheena would be a good example. That was in Jumbo Comics, or Tarzan. Well, he would be like, oh, I can make my own character. I'll make a character called Jojo. So he did that. And Jojo, he would basically take those other characters and go one step further with them. And what he would do is he would make them more sexual, more suggestive, and often more violent. So these Jojo comics have some crazy stuff in them. Like, there's a scene in one of the Jojo comics, I'm not sure if it's this one, but there's one of them where it's just this crazy contraption that basically rolls over people with spiky wheels, and it's just crazy. Just like really over the top. And another one, you get like people getting shot in the neck or decapitated, or just crazy stuff, like over the top violence. This comic is kind of a key for the Jojo run because of the fact that it is one of these good girl bondage covers. You get the sexy girl, she's upside down, she's in bondage. It's, got that kind of element to it. So this is kind of one of those keys from the run. There's another one, there's 2 others that are kind of other big cover issues from this run, but this is one of the major keys. This is Jojo number, I always forget, what number is it? I believe I want to say 15, but I'm not sure. That's the only problem with the Jojo comics. They never put the number on the front. I should really check my receipt, but yeah, this is one of the Jojo, and I'm trying to get a complete run of the Jojo comics. The interesting thing about Jojo comics, another point about Jojo comics, is they originally were not jungle comics. It was only after issue number 7 that they switched over to being a jungle title. And before that, they were like cartoons and stuff. So the early ones are actually very cheap. From 1 to 6, very cheap. Number 7 is the first appearance of Jojo, so that's a little bit more of a key, and it's still an affordable book. And then there's the big keys within it are really based on the cover, and this is one of those really awesome covers. And I hope I'm showing it well because it is just it's just such a great cover. And this is a high grade book. Yeah, it's it's got a bit of browning right there, but other than that, it's quite solid. Just a really nice copy. So that has been my comic unboxing. I hope you enjoyed it. It's just a shorter video because it's only 4 comics, but these are really kind of major keys. And the Thunder comic is really one of those ones that is kind of like a prized collectible. It was one that I've been hunting down for a while, and I've been kind of negotiating with different people that had a copy. Like there's a couple of vendors that I knew that had it, and it's one of those ones that, you know, you gotta. I was trying to get it for a good price, so it's usually a bit of a pricey book, but I was able to talk them down. So it was $1,200 for the 4 comics. So the JoJo being the most expensive, it was like 700 or 600, I should say, and the Thunder was about 300, and the JoJo #1 and the other 2 kind of make up the difference, so 100 each or something like that. So yeah, so that's my unboxing. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment, like, and all that kind of stuff in the area below. And thanks for watching. Bye.